Hello, my name is Rich Brown, and today we're talking all about setting up your socials for success. This is the Marketing Power.
The QBD podcast.
The Marketing Power.
They don't have the capacity or the resources to post quality content every day.
No.
Why you're doing social, what you want out of it, and who your target audience are. You've laid no foundations to help guide me into becoming a paying customer. So is that blog well written for SEO and for humans? I don't need to worry about that. I can focus on another client, or I can focus on another part of my business. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Today, we have a very special guest in the studio. Molly Sneath, marketing specialist at QBD, will be giving us an insight into why random posting is killing your results and what you need to do instead, the content formats that actually drive results and engagement, and we'll also talk about the impact AI is having on social media. Let's get into the Marketing Power.
The QBD podcast.
The Marketing Power.
Hi Molly, thanks for being with us today.
Great to be here.
We see a lot of businesses posting on social media. A lot of them seem to be just throwing stuff out there and hoping that it sticks. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see people making?
I think first and foremost, what a lot of businesses fail to do is actually set the foundations up before they start to post. So things like profile optimization, making sure they've got a little bit of a bio in there, they've got a link to their website, especially on things like Instagram, where people will go to their profile to sort of learn more about them. A lot of businesses will just think, oh, I just need to start posting and it'll be fine. But as soon as someone clicks on your profile, if there's no profile picture, no cover photo for Instagram, for Facebook or LinkedIn, there's no bio, there's no links to learn more about you through your website or through a podcast or YouTube channel or something, people aren't going to then stick around because they've seen a post, they want to learn more about you, but you've not given them that information. So I think actually it's laying the foundations before you even think about the content you're going to share. It's, okay, well, have I set everything up that I need to give my social content the best chance?
Yeah, and it's something that I've been, I know we've both been working on with clients recently, is that, really filling out their profiles and putting as much information on there as it can. I've often talked to it like, it's like a free business listing on the world's biggest websites.
Absolutely.
So why wouldn't you want that? And just sort of put as much as you can on there, list your services, and obviously things like, some of the accounts like Facebook, you can probably put more information on because you can list services, and the other, like even Google My Business profiles, you can do that as well. But yeah, I suppose it's just having that clear, really say who you are, what you do, where you do it, getting those things in place is key, isn't it? Yeah,
100%. And even sort of contact details. So across Facebook, especially LinkedIn and Instagram, all three of those platforms, you can put your phone number, an email address to contact, as well as links to your website, as I said before. So just giving people the easiest route to getting in touch really is the whole point.
Yeah. So once people have got their profile sort of really fleshed out and put as much information on there as they can, take us into then the actual post of the content. What sort of things they need to be aware of? So
it really depends on what platforms they want to use. You know, you're not going to post something on TikTok that you're going to then post on LinkedIn. There's a very different audience there. Although you will have a target audience, how you interact with them will depend on what channel you're getting in touch with them through. So Instagram is probably the most diverse in terms of what types of content you can share. You know, you've got posts, stories, reels, and actually within those things, so within like a standard post, for example, it could be a static image or it could be a carousel where people swipe through. They tend to be the sort of more educational pieces. So you'll see on our QBD Instagram, it's like 5 reasons you should use email marketing, and then people can swipe through, and then at the end there's a clear sort of call to action. You can do a similar thing on LinkedIn where you can actually share a PDF, which always works really well. People can swipe through that. TikTok, obviously, it's video. You can share images, but
doesn't really work, does it?
Yeah, it's largely a video platform. And I think what a lot of people don't understand with TikTok is it can work for businesses, depending on business type. You know, it's probably more B2C than B2B. But I think a lot of people still think, oh, TikTok is just dancers. It's just silly teenagers doing dances. Yeah. But it's actually a really powerful tool. And there are a lot of brands on there that are doing really well. But it is a case of what resources have you got? What time have you got to put into it? Which is the case for across all social media, really. Yeah. It's what can you maintain and sort of, how much time can you put into it?
I've often talked to people about almost like meeting the demand of the platforms, and people have asked me like which social media channels should we on, and obviously we're not we're not employed by any of them. It's not, it's no business of which one do you want to choose. But I often talk about like the ability to meet the demand of that platform. And obviously TikTok is like the one extreme of that because unless you're going to do videos, you can't really, there's not really much point doing it. And then you've got to be honest with yourself of, are you going to be able to create videos on a regular basis? If you're not, then it's probably not really going to work for you. And then at the other end, probably I always think sort of Facebook and LinkedIn are probably a bit more forgiving because you can basically share a link. You can't share a link on Instagram. And so there's just that sort of spectrum of like content that you're able to share. And just thinking about, what kind of content are we able to create to meet the demand of that platform? And I think something that I've seen a lot of is that businesses will identify platforms of, we want to target a younger demographic, or we're B2C and therefore we should be on these platforms, or TikTok's the funky one to be on. And then they just forget to consider that ability to create that content. And
absolutely.
It's such an important thing. Just want to share a little bit more about the sort of the images that you see when you like mention about the carousels and that sort of sizing thing.
So on Instagram, it used to be a square format. For years and years, it was a square format. And then they'd thought, let's change it. And they didn't really tell people it was going to happen. So actually what happened with Instagram is they now have, I think it's 4x5 sort of standard size. So when you go onto someone's profile, it's a 4x5 rather than a square box. And actually it caught quite a lot of clients out, us included actually, because it's sort of rolled out in a few accounts, but not others. It is now, from what I can see, across the board, everyone's doing it. But what it meant was people that didn't have their finger on the pulse with updates of image sizes changing and stuff were still sharing the square shaped graphics, and then when you go to click on their profile, it's all cut. It's been cropped, and it's been cropped off, and people's heads are chopped off, or words are missing. And so actually, that was a big change. Although to some people, it's not a big change. Actually, the significance of it, because if I went to someone's profile and I saw that they'd not updated their content and it's all cropped off, I'd be like, they're a bit rubbish. Like they're just not really on the ball. Doesn't really look professional. So in terms of the sizing and the images on Instagram, especially, if you're not already on the new format, get there, because it does make a big difference. But then you've also got different sizes when you look to the Reels, because that's basically TikTok. Instagram Reels is TikTok. So when you're filming a video, it's making sure you're not filming it landscape, you're filming it portrait, so that then it's more in line with Instagram and TikTok. LinkedIn, you get away with a little bit more. A bit more forgiving again. Facebook, they're a bit more forgiving. Like the image size, very much. It's good if it's square or. There's not a grid on LinkedIn where you're going to see all of the posts in one and they're going to be cropped off. So actually, it's more Instagram that had the issue. More than anything. Facebook and LinkedIn usually a sort of landscape, not too landscape type size. What I've found with it is that then it is hard to repurpose that content sometimes, isn't it? Because you mentioned about the video thing with Reels or TikTok, that it is that sort of portrait phone 9x16 sort of size, that if you have got like existing video footage which probably got filmed 16x9, it is quite hard to sort of bend it into those formats, even bend it into square formats. And so what I found when we've been helping businesses out is that yes, you want that consistency of message across your platforms, and what you're posting is broadly the same. It will be personalized obviously to each platform and each audience, but more effort has to go into tweaking those dimensions of those images or those videos, where then it's to make it absolutely optimized. And so again, it's having that ability to, or just having that honesty about yourself to think, okay, we're going to do this work and we're going to run this campaign, but just think of all the different variations of all the different assets that we need. It's quite a lot to get head around, isn't it? Really? Oh, it is. And it can be really quite daunting as well to know where to start. But then also once you do start, if, for example, you have quite a broad target audience where the age range is like 25 to 65, you're not going to be talking to your 25 to 30 year olds the same way as you're talking to your 60 to 65. And the likelihood is they're not going to be on the same platform either.
Yeah.
So it's all about sort of goes back to getting the foundations in place, really, having a sort of clear content plan of, okay, who do we want to target on Instagram? This is the type of content we need to share. Who do we want to target on LinkedIn? Who do we want to target on TikTok? And although there might be sort of an umbrella audience of your target audience as a business, it's going to be sort of mini strategies per platform, really.
Yeah. And then when you add in the format variations and the size image variations on top of that, then it can get quite a big thing. You mentioned earlier that yes, obviously these platforms do just seem to change whenever they fancy it, and they don't really let you know what's going on. I know that Instagram have had some sort of, you mentioned it a bit already, but they've had the biggest shifts, haven't they, recently? Do you just want to talk us through a little bit more about what have been the big changes on Instagram that you've seen?
Yeah, so obviously we've mentioned the change in the image size, which is easily fixable. You just go into Canva and
just redesign
it, fine. And actually Canva have a really good tool where if you have Canva Pro, you can resize existing graphics to a new one, and it just does it all for you, which is great. But probably the bigger change, and probably the change that not as many businesses are aware of because it's not a visible change, was early July this year, July 2025. They announced that they were going to basically bring in a new feature that meant some Instagram posts would be found on Google. So that sort of opened up the whole conversation of SEO in a social media setting, which is a whole other topic on its own, really. But what it meant was anyone who had a account that was a business account run by someone over the age of 18 would automatically be, their content would be accessible by Google, basically.
Sort of read by Google, really.
There is a way to switch that off. You just have to go in the settings and swipe a toggle, and then it won't happen. So it's not like they've done this sneakily. There is a way to opt out if you want to. But actually, I would encourage businesses to opt in and keep there, especially if you're sharing content that is sort of information, it's educational type stuff. So going back to the carousels, like our example, five reasons you need email. If someone's searching on Google, like, is email worth it kind of thing, our Instagram carousel post could appear for them. And actually people, especially with sort of AI overviews that have come into place, people aren't necessarily clicking the links on Google anymore. They're just seeing what comes up, reading it or absorbing it in whatever format it is, and then taking that away. So actually the fact that your Instagram content can appear in Google is probably quite a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting shift. So when I first started getting into all the digital marketing stuff, it was mainly sort of this organic social media stuff that I did, and then it sort of felt like the bottom fell out a little bit with obviously paid ads taking more of a thing, and Mark Zuckerberg not want to give you a free place to promote your business anymore. And so social media used to be like you've absolutely got to do it. And then I felt it sort of shifted a little bit to, okay, it's just part of the marketing mix. Yeah. It's good to do, it's good for profile, but you need to have that focus. And I think this thing that you mentioned with Instagram and that SEO bit, what I've noticed with all the social media channels is the others will follow suit. So if your LinkedIn posts aren't readable by Google, they will be soon. They all end up doing the same thing eventually. And for me, what I saw was that put that emphasis back on, okay, well, the quality of the content that you're putting on social media, because I get it, particularly with those sort of more B2C platforms of TikTok and Instagram, you do want to sort of show off your personality and your authenticity and sort of give people that BTS behind the scenes view into the business. But actually you want to still keep a little bit of just that saying who you are, what you do, who you do it for, where you do it. Have that keyword SEO optimized type of content in your posts. And I think that's probably sort of brought it back into the mix, isn't it, really, of just thinking about, okay, what you would want to be ranking for through your website. You've still got to be talking about that on your social media, haven't you? Absolutely. And that sort of ties in really nicely with where you get your content from for social. So blogs, for example, are such a great, diverse sort of pillar piece of content that you can use for not just your email posts and for your website, but for social as well. And actually that then ties in. Google will be able to see, we've done a blog about why you need to post on social media frequently and consistently.
And also we've posted on social media about why you need to post on
Yeah, a
social
few
media.
times. Yeah,
and
yeah.
it all just ties in together. And then you're sort of building your authority as well, which ties into EEAT, which we've
Yes.
had
Yeah,
podcasts about in the past as
Yeah.
well. So it all, like you say, although social media on its own isn't necessarily like the go-to choice for driving conversions, actually it does play a big part in the marketing mix as a whole. And without it, you probably are losing out on
you're missing
leads.
you're missing a bit of a trick, aren't you?
Yeah.
And it's part of those social signals, and it's something that that I've heard sort of referenced to when, obviously, with AI, people using ChatGPT more a bit like a search engine and these AI tools. I heard someone say essentially you got to treat it a bit like a dog. And you just got to train it and just got to train the AI as to who you are, what you do, who you do it for, where you do it. And although all that stuff, yes, is on your website, but if you can just make sure that that stuff is also on your social media, and I suppose it goes right back to that bit that we first talked about, your profile. So make sure that your profile is fully optimized, that the keywords, those buzzwords, as someone once said to me about it, was those buzzwords are in your profile bio, your locations are in, your services are listed, your products are listed, the links to your websites and your contact details and all your social media links are all connected to each other's profiles. And then on your posts, you're also talking about the things you do and those things you want to be known for in those areas that you want to be known for. And it is really just sort of all part of that mix, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And one of the important things as well, sort of leading back into the SEO side of things, is every post that you do, in the settings of that post, you can add alt text, which obviously helps with accessibility and stuff. But on the flip side, the SEO side of things as well, that's really important to do as well.
Yeah, I think it's just having that key, who is it we do, what do we want to be known for? And I think, as we said right at the start to open this podcast, a lot of people just seem to sort of just throw stuff out there, hope it sticks. And it's not necessarily coordinated. And I think you can, for people listening and watching, you can see that you've really got to have a plan. If you want this to be successful, you need to have a plan.
Yeah.
Not just about the content you're creating and making sure you've got the right formats and the right image sizes for these different platforms, but also the messaging is key and consistent through there.
Yeah. I think another big thing that people often probably get scared of a little bit is how often to post. And there's a lot of articles out there that's like, you need to post on Facebook 5 times a day if you want to get any results. You need to post on Instagram 1,000,001 times a day. And actually, although yes, that would be great, a lot of businesses and a lot of small businesses that we work with, they don't have the capacity or the resources to post quality content every day. So actually, even if you say, okay, I'm going to post Monday, Wednesday and Friday, sticking to that, great starting point. And then it might be that 3 months in of doing that, you can be like, oh, actually, I could probably post on a Tuesday as well. And then build it up from there. I think people get very scared and they think, oh, I can't do social media because I've not got enough content to post every day. When actually it's just getting started.
Definitely. Just get the ball rolling.
Having a voice.
Yeah, I've always said it's you got to let your content dictate your schedule and let your schedule dictate your content, because everyone gets into that rat race of I've got to post every day. I don't know what to put. I know it's Thursday. I'll just put this. And then that's when it is that.
You fall into the trap of just posting fluff and then your audience is just going to shut off because they can't relate to it.
Yeah, there's just nothing about it at all, definitely. And I think it's, having that ability to think, okay, let's have that quality over quantity. I've been doing, been helping people with digital marketing stuff for many years now. And I don't think I've ever met a business that could justifiably post every day. Basically, they just don't have enough stuff to say. I don't think I've met hardly any businesses that could meet the demands, and social media has an insatiable appetite. You'll never feel like you're posting enough. It'll always sort of suck you into wanting to post more. And you've got to sort of wrestle back that control, haven't you? And think, okay, even just 2 a week, 3 a week,
it's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. But you're better off structuring that way than thinking I've got to post every day, because that's when the quality can really take a hit, can't it?
Exactly.
And social media is a long game, isn't it? So you've really got to commit to it and get that consistency in there. What do you see the benefits of getting that consistency going with your social media? So
obviously the more you can get a sort of schedule in place, the better, because once you start posting, let's say you post a top tip every Monday, your audience will then start to anticipate and expect that post to come. And what great way to make sure you do that is through scheduling tools.
Yes.
So Buffer, Hootsuite, Meta, obviously you can schedule directly in there. Same with LinkedIn. And by doing that, you probably save yourself a little bit of time, especially if you're a small business owner doing it yourself. And instead of going into the start of the week and thinking, oh my God, what am I going to post today? I've not got a graphic. I've not got a caption. Panic. Set yourself sort of 2-3 hours if you even need that, start of every month, and actually schedule the whole month ahead. Or even 2 months ahead, so that you're then always a month in advance. And we've really found the benefits of using those scheduling tools. You know, both of us run the socials for clients as well as QBD, and actually having that peace of mind, especially when you've got sort of annual leave coming up or something, you know, okay, those posts are going to go out, no problem. The hashtags are all in there. The caption's perfect. I don't need to worry about that. I can focus on another client, or I can focus on another part of my business. And it just gives you that sort of, not relaxation, but
it's a bit of a safety net.
Yeah,
exactly. I certainly have seen that. I haven't met many businesses that sort of have social media at the forefront of their mind. So they're always thinking, oh, I'll post. So it is hard to post 2 or 3 times a week. It's hard to meet that demand and that consistency. I think if you don't have that scheduling thing behind it, I think it's the biggest trick to making your social media work is to sort of bring it back into almost like an admin task.
Yes.
So like you said, like how we do it. So on a Friday afternoon, we'll think, right, okay, as well as setting your to-do list for the following week, just get a couple of your posts out there. And particularly if you've gone through what we've already covered about identifying have like quality and letting your content dictate your schedule and not your schedule dictate your content, you'll actually fall into a rhythm, like you said, of, okay, every Monday I'm going to share a tip.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 12 tips that I can share.
12 weeks.
And I've got one, and I'm going to share them every Monday. That's 3 months of Mondays done straight away. And then when you start going into maybe like testimonials or feedback or reviews or about you things, you can very easily see a build up of that. And what that gives you is that consistency, doesn't it? But then it's also momentum. Just want to say about that benefit of like building up that momentum in your posts. Yeah,
absolutely. So the more you can, obviously, like we said, the more you can post, the better. And by using the scheduling tools to build that up, the better. Yeah. And like you say, once you start to actually sit down and take some time of, okay, what content can I share? There's actually quite a lot out there, especially if you have blogs and stuff. So, you know, like you say, you've got your top tips one day, your blogs another day, maybe you have a mini case study another day. And actually, as time goes on, you're building up sort of a bit of a portfolio really of your brand and your business on your social platforms. Yeah. And it's all about sort of telling the story of who you are, as well as who your clients are and how you want to interact with them. You're also letting people know what your brand values are, what you stand for. Maybe it's group shots of the actual business. You know, we found with our own social media, as soon as we share your face or Liam's face or a whole group photo, LinkedIn
people
goes
engage.
crazy.
Yeah, they engage. People engage with things.
So I think the more, as you say, like you're starting off small and then you just build it up and up and up. And actually you might find that one post that you do that you think is just a standalone post, someone might make a comment of, really love this post, what do you think about X, Y, Z? And then you think, oh, actually, I could do a post about that. Oh, actually, that would be a really good blog. Yeah. And then you the content just fans out and it just feeds it more and more. Yeah.
I think one of the things that businesses also fall into the trap of as well is knowing just how long it might take them to actually get some traction or even results from social media. Like it can take months and even sometimes years of what we've talked about being consistent, posting 3 times a week until you start to really get that recognition, that engagement, that brand awareness. What are some of like the groundwork foundation things that businesses can do to ensure that they do last that long before sort of giving up on it?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's actually understanding that of all the leads that they get through the website, for example, there may very well be a portion of those leads that have converted because of something they saw on social media. So I saw a survey the other day, I think it was a Sprout Social survey, and they'd asked a group of people, and 76% of those people said that in the last 6 months, social media had impacted their purchases. Yeah. And so actually, although you can't necessarily in Google Analytics
it's always a direct link. They see the post, they click it, and they buy it. Yeah.
That post that you shared on July the 7th last year, that resulted in a conversion, because So many people are lazy on social media and they'll see a post, they won't interact with it.
Yeah.
They won't like it, they won't comment, they won't share, they won't send it to someone, but they'll see it.
And it does
We
still
have
influence
no
them.
way
of
knowing that was the turning point for them, but it very well could have been.
Yeah.
So all of the work that you're doing behind the scenes with your website, with your email, with networking and stuff, they all play a big part. But actually, in terms of pushing someone over the edge into a paying customer, it could have been the reel that you shared last week.
Yeah.
But you've laid all the groundwork around it, and social media is sort of the cherry on top of the cake. It's important and it's crucial for the brand awareness and the visibility, but it's a small cog in the bigger.
Yeah, I think it's the same with all marketing, isn't it? I think most people know that you got to sort of stay at it for a while.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of business networking, and I've always likened social media to that. You wouldn't rock up to one meeting and expect to get business from it. You would need to be going for about 9 months, maybe a year and that would be a similar sort of time frame I always see for social media. Yeah. The other thing I've always thought is post on social media is a bit like buying a raffle ticket, and you just got to keep. You just got to keep it in there. Yeah. And I often say to businesses, the challenge you've got is that I might need your product or service in the next 18 months.
Yes.
But the challenge is you don't know when that's going to be. So that's your first challenge is you've got to keep in front of me until I need it. There's actually a bigger problem is that I don't know when that's going to be. So I might need your products or services in 18 months and I don't know when that is going to be yet. So I think that's where social media can really fit into a marketing mix of a plan is, okay, it can just help you maintain that presence, but it could be 18 months. Yeah. And like you said, I could just be very passive with your social media. I just scroll past it because I don't need it. 18 months down the line, I have a problem or something, and the day I think, I really need this, and it's if by magic, there you are. There it is. And it's an odd thing, isn't it? But what are the sort of some of those key things that businesses can do to make sure they can last that 18 months? Because I think that's a big thing that I see. Like people can sometimes almost get demoralized of posting 3 times a week, and if it feels like it's a chore, that it's going to be really hard to keep that momentum up for that long. Yeah. So what can businesses do you think, to give them the best chance of lasting that long? I think one of the most important sort of things to do as a business is trust the social media. It is a big deal to maintain it, especially when you're not seeing the results and you're not getting the leads through. But actually, if you're a big enough business where you can have a person in the team that sort of champions the company social media, great. Give them part of their role is maintaining the social media. Then you as a business owner don't necessarily have to worry about it. I think other things in terms of sort of laying the groundwork is making sure that your website and other channels are set up in the best possible way as well, because that's only going to help your social media to thrive. If, for example, you post on LinkedIn and this is the latest blog, and you click on the blog and then your website takes 10 seconds to load, people are going to leave straight away. Even after 3 seconds, they're going to think this website's rubbish. I'm going to go and find my information from somewhere else. So making sure your website loads quickly, it's got the right sort of content on it, and also that your tone of voice is in line and consistent across the board. Obviously, what you write on your website will be a little bit of a different tone to social media, because social media is more sort of chatty, friendly, human to human, whereas a website, you're obviously writing for the human and the robots. But having all of your marketing assets in the tip-top shape, best possible position they can be, it's only going to help all of your other channels linked in with it to perform better. So you mentioned that what people post on social media might sort of slightly differ to how what they say on their website, just because it's to slightly different audiences. But how can businesses make sure that there's still a consistency across their messaging, either if they are like delegating it to someone within their team and knowing that what they're saying is on brand, or when they're doing it themselves and they've got their website content and then they're looking to post on these different social media channels, what can they do to ensure there's a consistency there, do you think? So straight away, tone of voice guide. Because it'll just make your life easier. It's not just a tone of voice for the blogs you write or the case studies you write. It's a tone of voice
for you as a brand and as a business. And so once you've got that sort of document and there's a slide in there of these are the words that we use to describe our company, whoever's running the social media can tap into that.
Yeah.
And it will then be in line, not identical, but in line with this tone of voice that sits at the top of every single bit of communication you have. Yeah, exactly. It's the brand guidelines. It's the document that tells you this is how you should speak about this business. This is what we sort of value. This is who we are as a team. This is how we work. This is who we want to work with. And so once you've got that sort of document in place, anyone really, in theory, could post on your social media, pick it up, have a read and be like, yeah, I understand what this business is, what they stand for, who they are.
The type of, they want to come across as sort of informal and chatty or a bit more sort of professional. And I suppose that's where you can then ensure that you do come across as human beings, because the thing that we've seen a lot of, and I think more and more people are spotting it a mile off nowadays, is when then you just think, well, I'll just get AI to write it. Because even when you're posting directly on LinkedIn, the AI generator will pop up and it will prompt you and say, oh, do you want me to write this for you? And I've seen that people do get a bit lazy, but I suppose that's where you can see where you shouldn't go down that path, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. And by all means, like, you can use AI as a tool to help you with your captions, but as soon as you ideas, oh, I don't really know how to start this post, it's about this, I don't really know how to grab people. AI, great tool, saves you time, you can use it. But as soon as you then start saying to AI, write me 5 captions for this week's social media post, and as soon as you copy and paste it into your LinkedIn bar or your Facebook bar, your Instagram bar,
it's just done.
You're lost. It's a goner. And like you say, you can spot it a mile off now, and even people not in the industry are now starting to spot it. You know, the amount of posts that I've seen on Facebook where people are commenting on a photo of a dog walking on its back legs, it's clearly AI. And everyone in the comments, there's a clear split of people going, oh my God, this is amazing, this is so cute, and then the other half is people going, it's AI, it's fake. And actually, you then lose your authenticity and you break that trust with your audience, especially as a business posting as well. As soon as you start sharing an AI caption or an AI generated graphic, people are going to switch off because you can tell.
Yeah, you can really tell.
Yeah. And you lose probably half of your customers in one post.
I can see I can see almost why people do it a bit, because like we mentioned earlier, the demands of the platform of, well, you got to have all these different images and all these different image sizes for all these different things, and it's got to be a square and it's got to be a rectangle, it's got to be a well, I can see that you think, crikey, and some people don't like them have themselves as things, themselves in images, but it's becoming such an important part of this marketing mix, isn't it? Of just showing you, and like you mentioned earlier, even with the post that we put out as a company, when it is members of the team, it works better because it's a real photo of a real person that they recognise from they've met, but then also it's in the tone of voice they'd expect to see or read from QBD, that it's in that sort of approachable, friendly style that we like to portray ourselves having. And the whole thing sort of fits and works, doesn't it? And that's, I can see why people drift down the AI route, but unfortunately 100%. More and more, it just doesn't really bring that authenticity across, does it?
It's actually become more refreshing to see a real human face on social media than it is seeing AI. And that is quite a scary thought, that AI is only becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And so the more brands that can sort of knuckle down and actually stay true to themselves, they're only going to benefit from it. Yeah.
It's one of the things I was talking to someone about, actually, where I said, you know, with the way AI is sort of evolved and how sophisticated it is, that I could pretend to be another business by the end of the day. Yeah. Like I could do all the stuff. I could get it to write me blogs. I could get it to send emails. I could get it to create me social media posts. I can pretend to be you, not specifically you, but I could pretend to be a business of a competitor of yours by the end of the day. And the only thing that you've got to combat me is your authenticity and like the real you, because I can't tell you about the people I've helped or the qualifications that I've got or the photos of me doing the thing because it's all been generated. And I think that's, for me, the big mistake and almost a crime that I'm seeing people making is these people that have got brilliant stories to tell of people that they've helped and the experience that they've got and the qualifications that they've got, and then they're just sort of drifting into, I'll just get my social media post created by AI and it will do. And again, it goes back to that point. It's lazy and people just throwing this stuff out there. And actually social media plays a bit more of an important part of your mix, doesn't it? Because also what that's not doing is getting your keywords that we mentioned in line. It's not getting your brand aligned. It's not getting everything and giving those social signals and helping with your marketing mix.
Yeah, 100%.
And once a business feels that it's really got its organic sort of social media work and it's got that consistency in place, got its tone of voice in place, where does paid social come into it, do you think? Is it something then they should start to look at?
Definitely. I think paid social really does have a place with any business, really, because it's a way for you to reach the people that are your exact target audience. Where your organic social is, you're posting obviously in the tone and you're sharing content that you think your audience will like. Paid social is you can target people with an interest in your services. And I think the important point that you sort of touch on there as well is you can't really do paid social without a solid organic social strategy in place, because someone sees one of your ads come up on their newsfeed and they're like, oh yeah, I really need that. They click on your profile and you've got no posts.
Or your profile isn't optimized.
Or your profile isn't optimized. You've not got a profile picture. You've not got your website linked. As a consumer, I'm going to think, that's a bit dodgy. I don't trust you anymore. The ad hooked me in, but actually
the rest of it,
there's no foundations. You've laid no foundations to help guide me into becoming a paying customer. So the two go hand in hand. You can't really have one without the other. So I think in terms of being ready for paid social, obviously depends on what budget have you got spare, where's best to spend that budget. Is it in paid social? Is it on other channels, on other platforms? But also looking at what actually your paid ad would be. You can't just, loads of people just boost a post. You can't really do that and think you're going to get effective results. So it's, although organic and paid do fall in line with each other, you need to have almost a separate strategy for your paid social to make sure it's going to work and that you're going to get your money's worth. Really.
And the work, the two sort of work hand in hand, don't they? Yeah, you absolutely, with all the social media ad strategies that I run, it's always critical that they do have an organic pulse under that consistency. And I know that we've done podcasts before on the paid social thing, so people listening or watching today want to know more about this, can just go check back through the back catalogue where we go a lot more into paid ads and how to make them successful. That's been great, Molly. Thanks so much for sharing all your thoughts today. Been really interesting. What will be your key messages for people to take away from today's show?
Firstly, it's not about being on every single platform. Where you might see one company on TikTok posting all the videos, you might be thinking, oh, actually, I should probably be doing that. But take a step back, think about why you're doing social, what you want out of it, and who your target audience are, and let that feed in where you put your time and effort. Second would be make sure your foundations are in place. So make sure your profiles are optimized. Make sure you've got your profile picture, cover photo, if it's relevant for the platform, but also the foundations outside of the platforms that will link into it. So is your website fast? Does it load okay? Have you got quality content on there where if you're sharing a post that says latest blog out now, is that blog well written for SEO and for humans? Is it relevant to what you've posted about? Things like that. So foundations just as a whole, make sure they're solid. Third thing would be, don't be scared of how much you have to post. As we said in this podcast, there's a lot of content out there that says you need to post 17 times a day, but actually find something that works for you and that you can maintain to then build that momentum up, whether it's starting with 1 a week that then after 2 months builds up to 3 a week, that then builds up to 5 a week. Don't think that in order to start social media, you need to be able to post multiple times every single day, because for a lot of clients, especially people we work with, that's just unrealistic, and you're just going to get in your own head about it and either not do it at all and miss out, or try and do it and just post stuff that isn't actually relevant to your business.
Little and often is better.
Exactly. Little and often is better than nothing at all. And it's also better than just posting
Yeah.
waffle. And, you know, remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Although social media is sort of here, there and everywhere, you're seeing posts flash up on one day and then it's different the next day. Actually, the consistency, marathon, not a sprint, lead into it, get the momentum built up, and then 6-12 months down the line, you'll look back and think, oh, remember when I was really worried about posting in the first week and now I'm posting 5 times a week like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So actually it's trusting yourself and trusting your team that you will get there. It just might take a little bit of time, but it will be worth it. And lastly, sort of leading back into the first point, really, the foundations outside of your actual social media platforms, making sure you've got your brand values in place. Tone of voice guide can really help with that. Making sure your website's optimized, not just for helping social media, but your website should be optimized anyway.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've got a future podcast episode coming up all about sort of website audits and what you can look for in that. Everything you do in your website will aid in your social media. That's just a given, really.
Thanks, Molly. Some great insights there for people to take away. Can you just tell us a little bit about how QBD Pulse can help businesses with everything that we've spoke about today on the podcast?
Yeah, so QBD Pulse is actually probably the perfect program for anyone struggling with social media or finding a little bit daunting. It's essentially a monthly marketing program that includes social media as a given anyway, depending on whatever Pulse plan you're on. Social media will be included. And what that means is you as a business owner or marketing manager or whoever you are in a business that's been thinking about the social media, you can sort of give it to us, basically. We'll have a meeting with you to discuss your brand and your business and what you stand for. It'll include a tone of voice, like we've said, building the foundations for the social. And actually then we will take your social media off you, post on your behalf, we'll get the graphics done, video if you want it, things like that. And you will have the peace of mind that your business is sharing content on social media multiple times a week in a clear content plan. It's stuff that's relevant to your business, and you can then spend your time building your business and actually focusing on your business rather than worrying about touching base with people on social media, because we'll be doing it.
QBD Pulse is certainly a great solution for businesses that are looking to make more of their social media and their digital marketing. How can they get in touch if they want to know more?
So we've got a great team of experts. Everyone's experts in their own right. Everyone's happy to help. All you need to do if you're interested in QBD Pulse is book a call with us, get in touch with us through our website or messages on our social media, because our profiles are optimized and you can do that really easily. But we're always happy to help. So booking a call with one of our growth specialists will get the ball rolling for you.
Thanks again to Molly for joining us today. It's been wonderful to have you in the studio and for you to share your experiences with us on the show. Visit qbd.co.uk/powwow to enjoy more of our content and contact details on how to connect with Molly. All the links are in the show notes. And don't forget to like, subscribe and share the podcast so others can enjoy our content on digital marketing. I look forward to joining you again on the QBD podcast, The Marketing Powwow.
The QBD Podcast.